All right, hello and welcome to our first interview with Ali Abbas at the Cactus 2023 in Leipzig. And we are celebrating our 20th year anniversary of the Dcmm. And Ali, a short word of your person for yourself. Please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm not 20. I'm a little bit older than the Dcmm, of course. Yeah, well, my name's Aliabbas, also known as the Creator, or Alan Lee was the other name which I used, and I've been coming to the Dcmm now since 2010. Yeah, that was the first time I came. I made my first Casemod in 2008, which I wanted to show.
That's a long time.
It's a long time. I had one in '96 as well, when the whole concept of Casemodding didn't exist. But the real one which I wanted to show, which I had in a shop then, in the window, just to set the window off, was 2008. And for 2 years I watched the Dcmm in television.
Ah, all right.
And I thought, hey, I can do that as well. And so I gave it a go, and in 2010 I came for the first time.
Oh, cool. That sounds very good. So you are like, since the beginning, part of our inventory?
Almost.
Yeah, so every day, every year.
Stubborn, I'm always here.
Perfect, yeah. That sounds very good. But actually, how did you really get into casemodding, and what was the point behind it fascinating you doing all the work yourself?
Well, I've always been an artist all my life. I've done a lot of painting as well, and simple art and things like that. But what I always did was I was always a handyman, do-it-yourself, recycler, upcycler, and so I was into that type of art anyway. Always taking something that's not broken, breaking it, and making something new out of it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I got interested in computers, and in the 90s I became a network technician. But it was a very stale and stagnant, it was a boring job.
So you did learn network technician?
Yeah, I was into network technician.
So that was the way you came to computers and all that stuff?
Exactly. And I spent some years in sales as well, selling computers. Then I had my own shop as well.
Oh, all right. Okay.
It was a Vobi's franchise then, and so I was actually building computers, but they never looked good enough, right?
Okay,
and,
yeah.
Understandable. My style, I like the wild things, and I wanted to take the new and put it in the nostalgic, or I wanted to take the tame and make it look wild, or take modern state-of-the-art hardware and pack it into something that looks as if it's 2,000 years old. And so I started doing it, and and it just developed from then on, and it became more of a obsessive passion. Just to
a real passion, yeah.
It is.
I mean, look at your cases. It's obvious you have a passion for it. Yeah,
I like them. I hope everybody else likes them as well. And and it just sort of developed, and they got wilder, and they had more functions all the time. And I love doing spectacular paint jobs and having some gimmicks that you cannot buy, movable parts and things like that. So it just developed. So what was, over the years, how did you recognize yourself developing your techniques, and maybe what were the real challenges you gave yourself to overcome to do a next time better product for yourself? Yeah, well, that is always a challenge, because when you're doing it as intensive as I am, then you're always trying to peak whatever you've done before. But then what do you do next year?
Yeah,
or what do you do on your next project? So what I like to do is I try to come up with themes that people would not think of. Because it's very easy to go for something, pop culture. You take a computer game, or you look for a film or things like that, which I also find very interesting.
Yeah.
I made the Samurai mod, or Vikings and things like that.
Alien set.
Alien, exactly.
Right now.
I've always been a Giga fan.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant artist. And so, of course, I was inspired by that. But personally, what I really like doing is taking themes which nobody would think of, like the Chinese Qin dynasty.
Next of kin.
Next of kin.
Yeah.
Or, for instance, the Iron Maiden, for instance. It was, the Spanish Inquisition, they were not very nice people. Yeah, and
if you look into history,
they were pretty evil. And but I came up with this idea. I saw in Nuremberg there was this torture machine, the Iron Maiden, and I'm a fan of Iron Maiden music.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? I have to make this case. Yeah, and then I caged it in, and you blow out the candle on the altar and then the LEDs go off and all that crazy stuff.
That was pretty sick, yeah. To be
Yeah,
honest.
and so I like doing things like that which really catch the attention, because nobody expects any case modder actually to do that, because it's not a part of popular culture or popular art or something that's just going on nowadays in television or something like that. So that's what I like to do, and if I'm happy with it, then people usually like it as well.
Obviously, it's a big point of your style to stand out of the other participants in our tournaments. So yeah, that is very good. Yeah, much respect for your work. So it's yeah. By the way, what is your favorite material you are using? Like, is there any material that is in every case of yours? Maybe something.
Not always, but you can see that wood dominates. Wood dominates for, I mean, I've used aluminium and plexiglass and acrylics and all sorts of things
why?
together. And,
why wood?
Like I mentioned, I like the historical, cultural approach. I like taking modern hardware, which has a lot of plastics and a lot of artificial materials and metals and things. They look very sterile. And I like taking them and packing them into something that looks 1,000 years old. And what did they have 1,000 years old? Wood, of course.
True, yeah.
So if I'm making something that has, let's say, a clean surface like this, then of course I take materials which are like with the Dark Knight plastics and things like that, because they are. You maybe just have one plain color, and you want a clean look. But if I'm going for something which is a bit wild and should look like Da Vinci made it or something like that, then of course I need wood, because I want to see the wood grain. I maybe want to see the fittings on it, hammered iron, cast iron and things like that. And so I go for different materials.
But isn't it much more work, like working with wood and everything, like if you can have more normal materials for a case mod, like aluminium or plexiglass you mentioned?
Of course it's more work, but more work is more fun.
That's a good one, yeah.
More work is more fun, because if it's easy, if I would take a piece of plexiglass and I make a cut and then I flame it so that it's smooth, job done.
Yeah.
But if I take a piece of wood, I can bring it into form. I can use the wood grain, or I can ignore the wood grain. I can paint it that it looks like metal, or I can leave it so that you see the old wooden grain and I airbrush it maybe. So you have the variety of different directions that you can go in for wood, depending on the theme, of course.
So you are looking for the challenge for yourself as well?
Always.
Oh, nice.
Every time. Do something that I haven't done before.
That's a good point, because challenge is the next topic. Do you have an advice for aspiring case modders who are like who don't seek the challenge to compete with you and are like maybe a little bit scared, or that they don't have a chance to compete against you?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to say that you can't win against me. Yeah. Right? Well, I am. No, I'm not. What I would say is, though, just do it. And a good thing that has been developed here at the Dcmm in the last couple of years is the newcomer category. I'm really glad that you integrated that, because in the newcomer category, people come and they're not standing in competition against me. They're actually against themselves only, and against the other newcomers. So if they are really intimidated and they think, oh, Ali's back or something like that, and we don't have a chance, they know that they do have a chance if they're really going to see it that way. But what I do, one advice I would like to put out there is, do not think that you need a lot of money and state-of-the-art hardware to be a case modder, because that's not true. I built so many cases. Ragnar, the most successful case at the Dcmm, won every gold that was possible, and it was absolutely low budget. I just wanted to show what can I do with the hardware, what can I do with the materials, whether I have money or not.
I mean, it's like you mentioned, it's art. It's like painting or any other stuff you start doing, and you do get better over time.
Yeah.
And I think the key is to not stop. And
absolutely.
Always seek the challenge, like you do with yourself.
Yeah, I guess that's where passion comes in. I mean, when you're younger, of course, you're looking for your passions. You know some things you like doing. It could be that tomorrow you throw them out and you say, I want to do something else. I used to play football, for instance, and then I went to rugby, and now I'm a Casemodder.
Pretty awesome wave, yeah.
Yeah, it's normal. That's normal. That's how we do it in England. Yeah, it's football, rugby, and then Casemod. And but I found that I really love doing it. And I love doing it because I personally like the historical cultural approach. Other people like a clean approach, which there's nothing wrong with it. Everybody has their own way of approaching the art. But do not think that you need... I'm not saying that high quality tools are bad. I'm saying you don't have to have them to make a good Casemod. Yeah, you can start. You know, if you don't have a hammer, take a stone. If you don't have a screwdriver, take a knife. There is always a way to attain the goal. Yeah, and paint jobs make a big difference because you can make wood look like metal. You can make metal look like wood, and paint jobs. There's a lot of experimentation there as well.
Yeah, nice. So take it to your heart, all the aspiring Casemodders out there, and he's waiting for your competition and your challenge.
Yeah.
And do you have any last words for the people outside?
Yes. I'll tell you a proverb which I came up with. Imagination should meet its match. That's all I would say. Take your imagination and kick it in the ass. Right? And then it will work.
All right. Thank you for the nice talk, and thank you for the advices and your historical insights. So, yeah.